Hello. Let me start with something many small business owners don't say out loud. You build a company and yet you can't switch off. Sometimes it feels like you are the most dedicated employee in your own company, but not the leader. This constant sense of responsibility often leaves leaders wondering how to ensure their business thrives independently of their presence. What would actually happen if you stepped away for 2 weeks? In other words, how do you build a truly high-performing team, a team that continues to function, decide, and move forward even when you are not in the room? Often, this situation is labeled as lack of motivation. But what if motivation is not missing, just misunderstood? And this is exactly what the lab profile becomes powerful. The lab profile was originally developed by Roger Bailey as a framework for identifying motivational patterns through language. But over the years, Shelle Rose Charvet has been the global force who expanded this methodology, transforming it into practical tools for leadership, recruitment, and organizational growth. Through her work and her best-selling book, Words That Change Minds, she has helped leaders understand something essential. Motivation is not about pushing people harder. It's about understanding what naturally drives them. Shelle, I'm truly grateful to explore this together today.
Nice to be here, Mihaela, with you.
So, Shelle, in my practice, many leaders come to me and say, my team is not motivated. They don't take initiative and they wait to be told what to do. But often these are capable people and initiative disappears and energy feels low. What is really happening beneath the surface?
Well, the leaders are correct when they say their people aren't motivated. Because when people aren't motivated, it means their deep, unconscious needs are not being met. With regards to the actual tasks, do they fit the tasks? What about their environment? Is it the kind of environment that is motivating for different employees? Like some people like to work all by themselves, and if there's too many people around, it's overwhelming and they can't concentrate. What about their relationships? Different people are motivated by different kinds of relationships. So they're right that sometimes people are not motivated. But if you could find out what motivates them, you could massage the environment they live in, the tasks they have to do, so that you get the fit that lights the fire.
But usually leaders respond to this pushing harder, more reminders, more pressure, or more urgency. So let me ask you this. What happens when a leader's motivational language simply doesn't match the person in front of them?
This is a human problem, not even just a leader problem, because what most of us do is that the strategies that we use on ourselves to get motivated, consciously or unconsciously, we apply to other people. But imagine that's like I'm standing at my bus stop waiting for the bus, and I'm looking down the road at other people, and they're at a completely different bus stop. Well, if I'm speaking from my bus stop, how will those people ever get on the bus? We'll just keep looking at them and going, what are you doing down there? You should be over here. But if we could actually understand how other people are different, we would know exactly what to say and what to do and what not to do so that people will get on the bus, so that they want to get on the bus and they want to go where we want to take them or where we want them to go. So it's natural for people to use the same strategies they use for themselves on other people. But good leaders learn how different people are different and how they need to be different.
This is such a powerful insight. So instead of asking, how do I motivate them? A better question is, how are they already motivated? And am I speaking from their language? Could you help us understand how lab profile patterns can help the business owners?
So first of all, the lab profile is a short form for language and behavior profile, which means that if we know exactly what to listen for in other people's language, we can predict and influence their behavior. And likewise, if we understand their behavior, we can influence them by using the right language. Let me give you a couple of examples. We often look in the lab profile at pairs of motivation triggers, the kinds of things that happen. So let's say at work, you have an employee who's very goal oriented, who wants to know, what are we doing? What's the benefit of that? Where's our focus? If you put that employee, who we say has a toward pattern, they want to move toward the goals, in a problem solving role, they're lost and they don't know where to start. Like, they want to know what the goal is, but if you only give them a problem, they can't even get started. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a toward pattern and you're in a meeting and no one ever says what the goal of the meeting is. They just bring up problem after problem. Well, you start going, well, why am I even here? We're not doing anything. We're just analyzing what's wrong. And contrarily, if you have someone who has what we call more of a problem focus, and the word we use is away from, they're moving away from problems. They love problems. You give them a problem to solve and they are immediately motivated. Now, if you're a leader, wouldn't it be great to know who is more toward oriented at work and who is more away from oriented? Can I give you one more example?
Yes, please.
Some people love to have tons of options and possibilities, and other people hate having possibilities and options because they don't know how to start. And these two motivation triggers at work, one is called options, and this is your creative people who like to break the rules and color outside the line. They love to start projects, but then they get bored and start another project. They're not great at completing and finishing. Well, what if you matched them with someone who had a procedures trigger? And this is someone who, once they start something, they want a standard operating procedure and they're only satisfied when they finish something. Well, you have a creative person and you have a step-by-step procedures person. If they understood the benefits of each other, they could work really well together. But if they don't understand each other, the procedures person with the procedures preference thinks the options person is a little flaky, and the flaky options person thinks the other step-by-step procedures person is rigid. But they are powerful together, right? Because someone who has an options trigger will think outside the box, but the procedures person will make sure that whatever we decided is going to be implemented, right? Imagine as a leader, you understand this and you place people in just the right position and help them work together as a team.